Hey guys, welcome back to StoryTime with Dante and
Willow.
and today we will be reading Tales of an 8-Bit Kitten Lost in Nether by Kid, and we will be reading from chapters 2 to 4, so all chapter 2 and all chapter 3.
So let's get the story time started. Abe's felt nothing for several seconds, nothing except his pounding heart. Bit by bit, the darkness gave way to a deep red expanse. It was like an enormous cave. Abe's couldn't see the sky anymore, and everything was gloomy. Pillars of twisted stone surrounded him. He never seen anything like it. Far away, bright orange streams. He has never seen anything like it.
Bright orange streams.
Bright orange streams flowed down into a sea of the same color. He recognized the orange stuff. There was a pool of it in the plains not too far away from his home. It was very hot, like liquid fire on cold days. The kitten sometimes went near that pool to warm up. Of course, his mother had scolded him for hours after finding them there. That must be why it's so warm here, Abe's thought. He turned around back to the violet screen. He had moved a great distance by crossing it. Even if he didn't know how, he was certain of this. So that meant he could head back any time. But those flea scratchers were probably still waiting for him. If he went back through now, they would tear him to shreds. No, he thought. I'll stay for now. I'm safe here. I only need to wait for a while. And just then, a single wolf emerged from the portal. It was very close. Eves could smell its rotten breath and its musky scent of its damp fur. At first, he only stared into the wolf's red eyes, and it stared back. Neither of them moved. Total silence. Then its confused wore off. Jagged fangs and a low growl shook the kitten into action. That action, of course, was bolting across the dark red stones. He must really be hungry, Eves thought. He jumped across a shallow chasm. Why follow me here? He couldn't have just forgotten about me and gone after a rabbit. He zoomed around the column of glowing yellow rock. Rabbits taste better, don't they? Eve's path soon came to an end. He skipped to a half. Oh my gosh! He skipped to a hat on a vast ledge.
A halt on a vast ledge.
On each side was a drizzling drop. Dizzying drop. He wasn't afraid of heights, obviously. He was a cat. From countless days of trembling and tussling in the forest, falling from the tallest trees, he could survive any drop. He always fell feet first, and landing on his feet in an ocean of lava wouldn't do much good. And that was all he could see down there. A fiery orange sea. The wolf scrambled into the ledge and stopped, knowing it had cornered its prey. Eves backed up against the edge of the abyss. His future seemed grim. Burned or eaten. If he died now, though, he couldn't explore this place, and it was hard to and it had to be explored to a curious little fuzzball like him. It was the most fascinating place he have ever seen. He forgot the forest, forgot the swamp and the ravine. This world would become their new playground. Still, he had to deal with the tail chaser first. Suddenly, he remembered something that Tufty had taught him when chasing a prey. A wolf could get pretty careless, and the hound surged forward, and Ebbs waited for the right moment. Then he dashed aside with unnatural speed, even for a cat. The wolf's fangs chomped down on thin air. That was almost the thing. That was the only thing supporting it now. Thin air. The wolf had leaped right off the cliff. It yelped and turned as it fell, disappearing over the edge. When Ebbs approached and looked down into the lava below, there was nothing. Poor wolf, he thought. Sadness washed over him. He only wanted to get away. Which reminded him, how had he moved so fast? He realized him trembling. His heart was beating furiously, and he was suddenly exhausted. Ebbs moved away from the edge and sank down into the ground with a sigh. Only an hour ago he was gathering flowers, and now, what rotten luck, he thought. This is the worst day of my life. And itchy chill danced up and down his back. It's not over yet. I still have to find my way home. That portal would be an easy spot, of course, but it wasn't in sight. Ebbs had ran fast for a long time. He lost his sense of direction. All of a sudden, and this new world seemed much, much larger and much more enormous. Despite the waves of heat, he couldn't help but feel a little cold. He curled up into a ball, pushed his paws in, and wrapped his tail around him. What should I do? I'm trapped in this gigantic cavern, and I have no idea where to go. But I'm smart, right? I'll figure something out, right? The kitten looked around with big, fearless eyes. Big, fearful eyes. Eyes that shimmered like pools of deep green water. What will I do now? What will I do now?
I can read the next chapter. While Ebbs trembled in fear, he started to hear mysterious noises. They seemed far away in the shadows. He could hear the pig-like grunts, horrible slithering noises, and something that almost sounded like crying. With each new sound, his eyes grew wider and wider. He shrank back against the side of a small cliff. His back ached. Whatever I do, thought Ebbs, I can't panic anymore. I'll only get more lost. I have to think back, retrace my steps. That's the only way out. Suddenly, the crying seemed very close. He slowly turned his head, afraid of what he might see. That was when he noticed a kind of small white cloud floating in the air, floating directly toward him. No, it wasn't a cloud. It had a face. Whatever it was, it looked very sad. It really was crying. A few light blue tears were streaming down its cheeks. Eek! The ghost-like creature shrieked. When it noticed the kitten, Ebbs sprang back, the tail straight up and fur raised, as if electrified. Leave me alone, he hissed. The creature paused and gazed down at itself. Do I really look so terrifying? The creature sniffed. I must. Even this poor little magma cube can't stand the sight of a monster like me. It started crying again. Fountains of sparkling blue tears. This time, magma cube? Ebbs peered cautiously at this bizarre creature. I'm a kitten. A kitten. Its eyes shifted with suspicion. Ever so slightly. I don't think I've ever seen a kitten before. You must have come from another fortress. Yes? A fortress. Actually, I don't quite understand. Another sniffle. New tears formed in the corners of its eyes. Oh, that's why I don't have any friends. I never understand anything about anything. Eve stepped forward. His curiosity had taken hold. He had so many questions. Besides, it didn't seem like this thing had any intention of eating him. Why are you crying? It's a little strange, isn't it? I thought ghosts like to scare people. Ghost? The white being floated to the kitten's level. I'm aghast. I'm not strange. Every ghast is sad about something. Some of us cry because are no flowers here. Others cry it's too hot. Well, why are you sad? The ghast turned away. Because I have no friends. My whole life, that's all I've ever wanted. The puzzled kitten fixed his eyes on the ghast. Surely this was the most interesting creature he had ever met. Why couldn't he have found that portal sooner? I'll be your friend, Eve said. What? Oh, I get it. A joke, yes. Not at all, Eve said. To be honest, I don't have any friends either. At least not here. The ghast turned back to face him. Really? You mean it? Of course. Why wouldn't I? I'll introduce you to my other friends back home, too. The ghast spun around in midair. How can this be? I am dreaming. I doubt it, said Eves, glancing again at this strange new world. Dreams are never this crazy. The ghast nodded. He even smiled, although neither of them had any idea this was a special moment. It was like the first time in history of Minecraftia the ghast had experienced happiness. Their friendship would be documented in these books and discussed by scholars and sages for generations to come. Okay, that wraps this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, we'll be reading one more chapter tomorrow. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Go to chapter, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Catch you guys tomorrow.
And also, the reason why I don't know some words is because I'm a little, whatever it's called. I'm not very smart in the head. So I don't know much words, but don't mind that, please. But bye. See you later.
See you guys tomorrow.